Ah, Ecchi Anime. One of the greatest inventions that human beings have ever created. The only thing that brought all of humanity together and created world peace. Just a whole bunch of people that come together who are down bad. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Well, whether you love them or not, you can't deny that these type of anime mostly have ridiculous plots. Mostly full of nonsense, just so that they can give you some moments of, you know what. The stories may be trash, but they don't even come close to the shows we will discuss today. So without further delay, let's jump straight into the top 10 most ridiculous ecchi animes out there. So starting in last place, we have Super Hentai Heroes. To be honest, this show is absolute dog trash. No, it's not even that, it's just ridiculously trashy. Why? Well, the basic plot of the series is that one day an alien group invades the world and decides to annihilate the human race. But guess what they come up with to execute their plan? To take away humanity's sex drive and stop them from reproducing. Yeah, even the aliens are joining us in hell. And 5 years later, the main character arrives. He has immense hatred for the Qwaser and will do anything to wipe them out. He even joins an organization that fights against aliens and protects humanity. Is it me, or does it sound like a low-budget ripoff of Attack on Titan and Power Rangers combined? They use a special device to counterattack the aliens, and any guess on how they use it? They use it by doing some stuff that is ecchi. Yeah, that's kind of the best sentence I could come up with. There are no other words in my mind that could sum it up, but even all this said and done, the show sounds fun on paper. The actual plot seems like it could have been funny. Probably some guy that was watching other ecchi shows came up with this show while slightly drunk at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday and couldn't stop giggling. It's the directing and the execution that takes it back. Honestly, this is not a show that I will rewatch at all. But let me ask you a question. While watching a trashy harem show, do you ever think, man, this is absolutely garbage, but I love it? Wait, you do? Then Super Hentai Heroes is a show especially made just for you. Well then, next on this list is Magic Secret Sword Scrollat. I mean, what else can I say? Even a lot of hentai has a better title than this. That aside, the plot takes place in the Edo period in Japan. And at that time, a skill arrives where one can shrink the size of a woman's breasts just by striking with a sword. Talk about creativity! It turns out to be an issue as breasts represent wealth, fame, and status. I mean, what the hell? Where is the logic here? Well, as ridiculous as this sounds, it is higher than Super Hentai Heroes because it knows that it is ridiculous and never takes itself seriously. It also does an exceptional job of not acting like the other ecchi shows and has no purpose beyond serving the ecchi content. So if you can spare some time, go ahead and give it a watch. Next in the number 8 spot is a supernatural series called The Qwaser of Stigmata. Unlike the epic name, the series goes on full ecchi mode. The main character gets his powers from feeding. I mean, yeah. I did tell you what this list is about, right? How could anyone think of something this ridiculous? The creators were either down bad or humanity doesn't surprise me anymore. Coming back to the topic, what would you do if you would control an element and power it up through milk? To be honest, I would be terrified of babies. Anyhow, this show is a unique concept. The show can't make you keep a straight face because every time you were serious about a battle, you just had to see some twit feeding. So, all hentai and ecchi lovers, this is your pool of expertise. Enjoy! At number 7, we have Girls Bravo, the first isekai on the list. A harem anime whose lead male character is allergic to women? Well, that's original. Back in high school, the main protagonist had a sad backstory of being bullied by a lot of girls. As a side effect, he develops a rare disease where whenever a girl touches him, he breaks out in hives. Well, I mean, we are in a video talking about ridiculous ecchi anime. This is the least I could expect. But only if this was all. He gets transported to a world where the number of girls is way more than the number of men. Talk about irony. This anime is full of nude action. and for a minute I thought I was watching a hentai, but I wasn't. This anime is stupid, and it knows it. This makes it pervertedly funny, and doesn't really make any sense at all. But anyways, the animation is quite decent and the artwork stands out. Overall, it's a pretty fun watch. Then at number 6, we have Gonna Be the Twin Tails, a show created by otakus for otakus that makes fun of otakus. The main character is an otaku who spends most of his time daydreaming and rating girls' twin tails, even going as far as creating an otaku club dedicated to the hairstyle. That's a new reach. And when suddenly aliens attack the world, he grows twin tails of his own and becomes a warrior who fights said aliens. Basically, this is a backstory about a bunch of trash where the main character fights aliens with a bunch of other lollies and tsunderes, full of perverted jokes and mindless storytelling, and Gonna Be the Twin Tail might surprise you if you get onto it unexpecting nothing. How? Well, you should probably go check it out. And meeting us at number 5 is Ah My Buddha. What happens when you put a monk and a bunch of nuns together in a temple? Well, performing exorcisms all day and night, right? In a way. Performing edgy stuff all day and night? Oh, hell yeah. And no, I'm not joking. This anime doesn't even take Buddhism seriously. Ah My Buddha is your run-of-the-mill harem anime. And don't go into any harem anime expecting a groundbreaking story because you might find Atlantis. But not a story. I mean, okay, let's just stop trying at this point. Like, Super Hentai Heroes, this seems to be a ripoff of different shows like Power Rangers. But considering the anime does a decent job of developing the main characters, it makes it better. Slightly. Then at number 4, we have Akiba's Trip, the animation. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I always love seeing the sight of some vampire sucking out the blood of a person. The story involves 2 siblings who travel to a town where a vampire invasion happens. Except the vampires are known as the Bugged Ones. What the hell does that sound logical to you guys? I mean, if only the weirdness stopped there. The main characters form a group to fight the Bugged Ones, called the Electric Mayonnaise. Can anyone please remind me what was the show about? Oh yeah, it was about killing vampires. And any guess on how they kill them? Well, only the most logical thing of all, by the way. It's only by stripping their clothes off. Humanity's doomed. Jokes aside, the only thing that made this show stand out is that it is hilarious. Comedy is subjective. You may not like this type of humor, but if you do, it'll give you a hell of a time. But bringing us to the top 3 is Astarottes Toy. Astarottes Toy isn't a typical ecchi lolly anime. It is a medieval fantasy rom-com that just so happens to have lollies in it. Oh, and it may not be an ecchi anime, but it definitely is a harem. In a world where a cute girl has to suck the love juice out of men in order to survive, and yes, I did say it intentionally like that, we have our waifu, Astaroth. So she has to keep a harem of men close at hand. Ironically, Lot despises men, which will put her life at risk once she matures. To convince her to fulfill her duties, one of her attendants goes to the human realm to find a human male whom she can tolerate. He returns with a 23-year-old man who was a single father and the first member of the harem. The perfect hentai plot, won't you agree? But no, you guys won't get what you're expecting. At least not here. I mean, just stop looking for it and get a goddamn life. The show goes full rom-com mode. The characters are very relatable and the animation is also pretty decent. If you enjoy touching stories in shows like Shakugan no Kushana or Toradora, you might want to watch this show at least once. It will not blow you away by any means, but you might be surprised about how grown-up the show can be. Then at number 2, there is Keijo. The people wondering about the title, Keijo is a sport in the anime. What kind of sport is it? Is it like football? Or is it like baseball? Only if you could imagine what I am going to tell you. Keijo is a sport where only female participants must stand on circular platforms floating in a pool, aiming to knock off opponents using only their butts and their butts. Remember at the beginning of the video we said, don't try searching for logic or plot within the plot? Yeah, just give it up already. Just accept that it is goddamn ridiculous. Our main character enters the world of Keijo, hoping to bring home a fortune to her struggling family. Now the question arrives, what is Keijo? It is a fan service show, but that's just a cover. It's a satire for the shonen sports genre, where some guy with a random superpower dominates the competition, and for that we get an insanely stupid sport. A butt and breast wrestling. And does it go hard? And that was the first catch. A fan service heavy show can go awkward from where the comedy doesn't work. There are a lot of shows like that too, where you get bored so much that you finally decide to study for once. But Keijo is not one of them. It manages to be consistently hilarious. The fan service is incorporated into the plot so well that it always feels natural. So nonetheless, it's a great watch. But at our top spot, we have Shimoneta, a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist. I don't know about you, but when I first heard the title, it sounded dull. The basic plot states that, with the introduction of strict new morality laws, Japan has become a nation cleansed of all that is obscene and impure. Ha! If only it was ever possible. Moving on, by monitoring citizens using special devices worn around their necks, authorities have taken extreme measures to ensure that society remains pure. In this world of sexual suppression, the son of an infamous terrorist who opposed the chastity laws. And guess what he does? Starting to get a better life? No! Spreading perverted material amongst the sheltered public? Yeah, buddy! Shimoneta and Prison School have got to be the dirtiest and lewdest shows of 2015. But is Shimoneta compared to the shit show that takes place in Prison School? Absolutely not. Prison School is in a dimension of its own right. But don't overlook Shimoneta. Shimoneta is not a show to keep you hooked with its story, art, or anything else. This show delivers what is promised: dirty jokes throughout the whole show. And if you were expecting something else, well, I'm not so sure what you're doing watching it. Its sole purpose is what I mentioned before, which is to make as many perverted jokes as it can, and it did so. And honestly, I respect the commitment. Overall, it's good in terms of what it brought to the table, it's enjoyable, and that's what we look for in an anime, right? So if you're like me and you like your fair share of stupid, dirty jokes, go ahead and watch it. The term is simple: if dirty jokes are what you want, then dirty jokes are what you get. Well, that's the list for today, guys. So if you guys were able to make it this far, please be sure to comment on which shows you have watched or which shows you are interested in watching. Note that none of these shows are the best in the ecchi genre by any means. Just go and watch Redo of a Healer if that's what you're looking for. But all of these shows are very enjoyable, and these are what I will like to recommend to you guys. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and press on that bell icon and set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. I mean, come on, man. Haven't I worked hard for you guys? Anyways, thanks for watching. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.